Welcome to Know Your SMS with Vikram Upadhyaya, the podcast where we delve into the world of business, entrepreneurship, startups, and investors. Today, we're going to explore a topic that is often overlooked by many entrepreneurs: the importance of intellectual property, or IP, for startups. When entrepreneurs embark on their unique business ideas, convinced of their commercial success, their primary focus is on how to bring their ventures to life. In the midst of numerous tasks involved in building a startup from scratch, the term intellectual property often doesn't make it to their priority list. And even if it does, IP protection can seem like an expensive proposition for a fledgling startup. But here's what entrepreneurs should remember. Assessing IP implications is not just about protecting your work. It's also about ensuring that someone else hasn't already claimed rights to a similar idea. There could be others around the globe working on a similar concept, unbeknownst to you. Imagine the disappointment of discovering that someone else has already patented the idea or product you have painstakingly developed. This brings us to the importance of IP protection. In today's competitive and dynamic environment, IP can be a unique selling proposition, or USP, of your product or service. It helps create a sustainable and defensible differentiator for your company. By owning IP, you establish a high entry barrier, aiding faster growth in comparison to your competitors. Remember, investors place high value on IP, enhancing the worth of your venture. The Startup Genome Project, which maps and analyzes what it takes to make startups successful, identifies IP as a key ingredient for gaining a competitive advantage. This is especially significant for technology startups, where new innovations emerge daily. Both the manufacturing and technology sectors attach immense brand value to IP. It instills confidence in investors, clients, and other stakeholders about your commitment and passion, not just to succeed, but to become a market leader. There are three primary ways for a startup or any organization to protect its intellectual property: patents, trademarks, and copyrights. Intellectual property is an asset for its owner, carrying commercial value. An expert notes that protecting IP requires careful thought and strategy. For example, a novel technological innovation would be worth protecting through a patent, though this can be very expensive. In certain situations, it may be more feasible to seek trademark protection or to protect the product through copyright and patents. The key point is that different strategies are available depending on the goals. Intellectual property can be precious, and it is not uncommon for a brand to be worth 3 times a company's turnover. When IP is correctly and strategically protected, it can significantly enhance the valuation of a company. Also, remember, if someone else secures IP protection before you, you could be pushed out of the game, even if you started working on the idea first. You risk being found guilty of patent infringement or copyright violation. Companies can leverage patents to boost their revenues through licensing. For instance, Ford and Toyota have both bought licenses from Pace LLC to use its patent covering hybrid cars. In summary, while startups may face financial constraints when it comes to protecting intellectual property, it is crucial to continuously work on identifying IP and set aside funds for its protection. Starting with domestic patents, trademarks, or copyrights is a good initial step. As the company scales up, it can allocate a budget for international IP protection. Neglecting this can hinder the company's growth prospects. It's not just at the startup stage that IP is important. Businesses are constantly reinventing and redefining themselves in today's fast-paced world, where change is the only constant. This increased focus on innovation necessitates greater IP protection. The importance of IP cannot and should not be undermined by startups and established companies alike due to the long-term sustainable advantages it offers. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Know Your SMS with Vikram Upadhyaya. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more insights and tips on building a successful startup. Stay tuned for our next episode.